testing the wiki Jedi droid for hardcore. I'm level 1. I just made the character on a test server. I'm not going to level all the way up to level 15. I'm just going to level up to level 7, and then we will run the quest that I've been testing everything on is Elite Red Fang. You want to... Charisma is your main stat, so all of your damage to hit is going to come from here. You want to get your wisdom up and obviously your constitution. The other statistics are nice, but not going to focus on it. We also want to get our fortification as high as we can. So we'll start leveling. The first feat that I took was the magical training in order to get access to the Feydark Illusionist tree. And that allows us to get our weapon. You can see I have one racial action point, one universal action point from eating the tomes that I got from purchasing expansions. And we're going to focus UMD. Because we are single weapon fighting, we're going to go up balance every time. And then here you can decide if you want to do diplomacy. That's great. Having an allure skill like diplomacy or bluff or intimidate is always very helpful. You could also go repair if you want your self heals to be big. I gave myself 1 point for start, but I think I'm going to go diplomacy just because it's so useful. This is the level that we get our charisma, divine grace. We're going paladin again. This level we take single weapon fighting. We have our fear immunity. This we level up with charisma. Now, out of the box, without a wisdom item, we will not be able to cast any spells. We have to get an item to get our wisdom to 12. And this level here, you could do either of these. This is just +3 concentration, which I don't think is very good. This Blade Sworn transformation is very strong, even though it makes you essentially immune to any non-repair healing, but it gives you a lot of power, so it's worth taking. We are going to take for this level Adamantine Body. Basically puts us in heavy armor. So now we are paladin in heavy armor, single weapon fighting. Okay, and we're only going to level 7, so we're going to leave now. Something that if you didn't know, got a haste potion, a jump potion. It's always worth breaking these. You get some really good potions to start off with. And on Hardcore League, we don't have anything, so very helpful. So the first thing we want out of this, we already have fear immunity, but we need You've Got My Back. The other thing that we want to get is a defensive. We want Blur. And then color spray also. Okay, so we've got color spray. Then we can start going into this tree to get our stance. The first one we take is the PRR-MRR. We max that. We also want to take our lay hands and get as many of them as we can. Here's our stance. We want then to use the rest of the points that we have in here to gain this. This communion of scribing is our self-heal, and it will keep us alive. On Elite, we are going to run through the traps. We have a 79 fortification. We have 2DR. We've got pretty decent PRR and MRR for this level. We have no resists. Our fortitude save looks great, but our armor class is low. We need a wisdom item in order to be able to use spells. I've got 4 lay hands, and I've got my communion of scribing heal. I can color spray, and I've got 2 smite evils. And if you got Menace of the Underdark a long time ago, you got a cult mask. So I won't see the trap. I'm just going to jump. Yep, so I ran through it.
Desiccated corpses line the walls and hang from the ceiling. Dead assistants or failed adventurers.
As a Warforged, as a Blade Forged, I'm completely immune to poison. And I am in heavy armor, so they should not really do that much damage to me, but I'm not wearing a docent, so it's technically not counting if I have any armor on. That's why my armor class is so low, but still.
2 signal crystals rest on either
The
side.
communion of scribing is such a big heal, I'm going to hold off using it until I am a little weaker. Because I'm completely immune to poison, I can step on all of these eggs and break them so the little spiders don't pop out. It's a very solid class build to do for Hardcore League. It's very survivable, very soloable. I step on him. I've played this build in previous Hardcore Leagues and had a lot of success with it. You won't be disappointed if you like to solo a lot, and it's good for group content. You could switch out
descending into the unknown.
Diplomacy and take Intimidate if you wanted to tank for your group, as an example, but because you're single weapon fighting, you're not using a shield. But you always could, if you wanted to tank, just focus on shield mastery and go with Intimidate. Let's see if I can do this jump. Yep. Oh, I missed that jump. Okay, so now I'll use my heal. You can see it's very big heal, that racial heal that you get. So between that, I also have 4 lay hands, and I will, because I'm maxing out my charisma, my lay hands are going to be decent. And there, I've got my Smite Evil. Oh, he rare was up. I haven't seen this guy in a while. And you see, the only issue with this build is that the DPS is not super high and it's single target. So, but otherwise, very survivable. Let's do a lay hands and see what my... Yeah, so it's a decent lay hands. I'm gonna run into this
A
trap.
dangerous-looking
I took
spider
20.
crawls from the shadows, hungry for a meal.
So not super high damage, but it's enough
Venom
because
becomes
as
still
you level up,
ended
the
to
sword levels up. Do another lay hands. You could always use a different weapon as well. Whatever you wanted to use. I use the face sword just because it's Hardcore League and I don't have anything. So it's a nice free sword.
A signal
Oh, you can
crystal
see
is set
that
in the
lag.
wall.
I don't know what they did, but ever since the last update, very survivable. Warforged is the best for Hardcore League because they're immune to everything. I don't need water breathing
Though
because I
there
don't
appears to
breathe
be a way through
underwater.
the spikes, the
I
high
can't be
ground
level
seems safe.
drained. I'm immune to fear as a paladin. I've got blur from Fadark. As a Warforged, you're just immune to so many things. You're immune to poison, you're immune to disease. Unless they specifically affect metal or wood. You know, and at this low level, I can just run over all this poison. I don't have to worry about it at all. This room here, I don't need to interact with any of the traps at all. I can just run. Pull this lever, and because I'm a Warforged, this room here is not dangerous for me at all. You know, you can see I can stand in the poison, and I'm completely immune. Warforged and Undead are the only ones who can do that. So apostates or wizards, undead wizards, or Warforged. One of the reasons you see so many people play Warforged in the Hardcore League is because of how strong they are versus the low-level problems that can kill other classes. They can just walk right through them. You can see that heal is consistent. It doesn't take that long to cast. It doesn't cost that much mana, and it heals me while it's about half my health. It's still a solid heal. And, you know, remember, I've got nothing on. So, this is elite content, and I've got nothing on. This is a trap. We're going to run right through the trap. I was able to not get hit by it. We're going to run through this trap too. Likely I'll get hit by... Oh, I didn't get hit by that trap. I don't have what it takes to find this secret door and fight the troll, but that's okay. We'll just fight Red Fang. See, you even have color spray. And because your main stat is charisma, your color spray DC will be high enough to affect and work as a crowd
Red
control.
Fang collapses in a heap, twitching
And you can do
hissing
that as a
light
paladin.
ebbs from its body.
You can even take Quicken if you wanted, although you don't need it because you can jump cast color spray like I just did. And if you don't know what jump casting is, basically you jump and then you cast your spell, and that helps, you know, that eliminates the delay that they add to a spell. Like if you just cast a spell and try to move, you see how you start moving slow. You can jump cast. You probably already know what jump cast is, but I'll just show you. So you start the cast in the air. But yeah, you can see cakewalk. This quest is no problem at all. And you know, that's how it is on this build. It's so strong. It's like that the entire way to level 20. So if you wanted to get the level 20 reward, it's a great build for that. If you wanted to go for 1750, if you wanted to go for 5k, you can go for 5k on this build. It's very solid. And like I said, you can use whatever weapons you want, but I've got my docent. So we'll take this fortification docent and we'll just take a look at what happens. Yeah, see, now I'm over 100% fortification. My armor class now is 25. You know, that I have almost 160 hit points for level 7. I am very tanky. Very, very tanky.